Evan Rachel Wood is giving up custody of her son after alleged Marilyn Manson threats. This makes no sense. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I wanted to give you guys an update of the Marilyn Manson case, and we have a doozy. I'm also very grateful because we got Lisa from the Marilyn Manson cases here. Hey, Lisa, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. Also here, Colonel Kurtz herself. Thank you guys both for phoning in so last minute to adjust this case. Kurtz, how you doing? Do we lose her?
Doing great. Thank you for letting me phone in. I just had some plastic surgery.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, now I got you. Now I got you fine. Welcome both. Happy to have you both. If you guys aren't following these two, you should. They give you the definitive information on this case. And there has been some updates. Marilyn did lose a couple things here. He's not able to put the letter in. However, there's still a lot more to digest and all that and happen. Right now, I want to focus on this issue, which is what to me seemed like clear spin. And I wanted to bring you both in here to break down the history of this. Look, I don't like getting into divorce and custody battles. It's not usually my business. However, she is seemingly now making this our business by, I don't know how the blast got this information, but this is a story I know you've been working on. Both of you guys have been talking about the custody battle, really, which speaks to her character, both parents' character, if we're being honest here. And yeah, right now, Evan Rachel Wood is now suddenly claiming that she's given up custody of her son, and it's because of Marilyn Manson and his threats. I mean, that's a big thing to say here. And when I saw it, I had to give this a second because I'm like, well, how does that even make sense? Kurtz, let's start with you. Can you help to make sense? Like why is this coming out? What does this headline mean to you?
Well, I have several theories, and thanks for having me on about why this is coming out now. I think one of the big reasons is that some of we Manson supporters for weeks now have been trying to get the word out on the absolute cluster of a custody case that was going on between Evan Rachel Wood, a custody dispute between Evan Rachel Wood and the father of her child, actor Jamie Bell, in which Jamie Bell, and you can look at the court documents. I've already done a YouTube video on this and I put the documents out there. Jamie Bell accused Evan Rachel Wood of, well, let's just say improper parenting. I don't want to get you in trouble on YouTube.
Yes,
but,
it's right there on the screen. Yep.
Yes, okay, people can see it. And also accused her of planting unhealthy ideas about the threat that she said Marilyn Manson posed to her and her child, which Jamie Bell basically was calling out in these court custody documents as being a fantasy and unhealthy for their child. And he said he was very concerned about the influence that Evan Rachel Wood was having on their child. The other thing that came out in these court custody documents, and again, people can just look at my video or go to the documents themselves, is that Jamie Bell accused Evan Rachel Wood of withholding his child, of kidnapping their child, absconding to Tennessee and to her home in Tennessee, and withholding the child from him for months. And in fact, in his court documents, he was actually begging the courts to intervene and do something about the alienation and forced estrangement of his child that Evan Rachel Wood perpetrated. And so we've been talking about this for a while. Now, what happened recently is that both the Manson cases and I received information from sources, that Evan Rachel Wood had in fact lost custody of her child as a result of Jamie Bell's accusations and what was proved in court, and that Jamie Bell had been given custody, that she had been forced to give up custody of her child, and Jamie Bell had custody. And I reported this, and others reported this online. And what I think has happened is, I think Evan Rachel Wood, my personal opinion, I think that she's gotten worked up into a tizzy over this, and she's now trying to preempt this news. She anticipates that it's going to get out and more people are going to be talking about it. So she's trying to preempt this by spinning it a certain way, which is, no, I didn't lose custody of my child. I wasn't forced to give up custody of my child. I did this, because I was afraid of Marilyn Manson and what Marilyn Manson might do to my child. Well, the problem with that theory is that Marilyn Manson lives in Los Angeles. Jamie Bell lives in Los Angeles. How does that make the child any safer to now be in close proximity to Marilyn Manson? The other thing is that Evan Rachel Wood is still going to be able to have the child come and visit her for holidays, very rarely, but for holidays, according to this article. And so what? So Marilyn Manson takes some time off during the holidays. He's not a threat during the holidays anymore. Like, the whole story doesn't make sense. It also doesn't make sense because Evan Rachel Wood, in these court documents that we have access to, she was claiming that the child would be safer in Tennessee with her. That was the whole point of their custody dispute, is that she was saying, no, I can't return the child to his father in LA because I'm afraid of Manson. So now what she's trying to do is say, oh no, I gave up my child and now he's in LA because suddenly it's better for the child. It is absolutely crazy. And there's one more thing that I want to say about this. Let's not forget that it was in this court custody dispute with Jamie Bell, the child custody dispute. That is where the faked FBI letter that Evan Rachel Wood forged. She forged an FBI letter with an actual agent's name on it. That is where the fake FBI letter was first entered into court evidence. She was lying to the court, and this is all in the documents. You can see it. She was lying to the court and to the father of her child, Jamie Bell, saying that she had a document from the FBI saying that she was in danger and she was part of an investigation into Marilyn Manson, et cetera, et cetera. And it was a fake document and it was entered into court evidence. And that's where this whole FBI letter got started. So this whole story, this is kind of a powder keg, a media PR powder keg that's waiting to go off and blow up in her face. And I think she's gotten desperate and she's just sort of spinning out now, planting these stories. You'll notice how the actual story that's in the blast, it doesn't actually provide any documentation or any court documents. It's just basically
according to documents obtained by the blast. Yes.
Right. We're getting her story. Evan believes, Evan claims, right?
What a weird source to also be the one to break this. Like, it's not even like TMZ. It's like low level TMZ.
I can also tell you as well that through the course over the past several years, a couple of years of covering this stuff, I have heard through the grapevine that the blast is the preferred source for crisis PR companies to feed their stories to. And I know this for a fact because I know someone who is in this industry who was feeding a story or stories to the blast. And so this to me, what this feels like is she's trying to get ahead of the PR. And look,
and then other TMZ, other outlets will then you quote the blast is sort of how that all works, guys, just so you understand how the PR machine works. Go ahead.
Exactly. And last thing, thank you for letting me go on a filibuster here. But I wanted to say as well that people, if they have any doubt about what's actually going on or what actually happened in this court custody dispute, look at my video or read the documents yourself. Look at the Manson cases. You can see in the actual Tennessee court documents that are publicly available to us how the actual truth of what came out in those documents completely undermines this BS story that's coming out now from Evan Rachel Wood. So this is total BS, and I think people are going to see through it. So
you can see this video. This is the video to look up if you want. I'll put it in the description as well. Check it out. And I want to get your thoughts, obviously, too, Lisa. But just to respond to what you said there, I mean, all that valid adds a whole nother layer to it. But my God, California custody, the mom losing full custody, that is a rarity. That is a rarity. So I'm sorry, like, who gives up custody? Like, that makes no sense to me. And I don't. This isn't in the best interest of the child, in my opinion. Always the best interest is trying to figure out how to not have these fights and have both the mother and the father agree for the sake of the child and let all their drama be away and just be there for the kid. That's what's best for the kid, in my opinion. So this idea that she's going to give up custody is such a weird thing to try to spin. What do you mean you're giving up custody? So you're not going to be in the child's life? You're going to just accept a weekend a month? Like, that's usually what the dad is given in these situations, especially in California, which is just not fair and not right. But I got to say, when I saw this, I'm like, well, wait, what? What mom gives up? And again, I'm not trying to judge, but it's hard to not judge this woman given everything she's putting out there. It doesn't make sense what mother gives up custody and then has a California judge. Yeah, we're not going to give it. There's so much more going on. Lisa, I want to get your thoughts. Do you think there's more legally to this than maybe she doesn't want out there and there's more to it? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, considering these documents are actually considered confidential in California and no one can actually get them, it tells a lot of the story, right? Because Evan right now can leak these documents to certain outlets and basically tell her own story, but no one else can see them. I think it tells a lot. And I agree a lot with what Kristen, Colonel Kurtz just said. And if people don't understand why this is kind of the big deal that it is, it's because this aligns with the allegations she made with or against Marilyn Manson that she had to kidnap her son, take him from California to Tennessee for his own safety. And it was Jamie Bell, her ex, that filed custody in California. And she responded by then filing in Tennessee, saying she always lived there. And that's a problem. It shows a pattern of lying on her part if anyone were just to go through the Tennessee documents. And I still have yet to see the media do that, except to rehash this weird story about Marilyn Manson going after her son and blackmail. But these documents are publicly available, at least the ones in Tennessee. So to me, it looks like she's nervous because of a YouTuber and some people on Twitter like me or John from Marilyn Manson Uncanceled saying, hey, we have sources saying that she lost custody. So it looks like she's going to this website that most people don't know about, not TMZ, not Rolling Stone, not People Magazine, to kind of narrate her own story.
Yeah, it's weird. She agrees to primarily, she agreed to primarily live with him in Los Angeles, which is, again, the problem. Why now she's suddenly okay with it. She agreed to that. She'll have custody of Jack one extended weekend per month from Friday after school at 10. In other words, the young boy will stay with his dad most of the time in LA and travel to see his mom once a month. Of course, she'll have custody for holidays like spring break, President's Day. It's a huge change for the actress. Yeah, I mean, and it's not good for the kid. It shows to me that the court agreed there's a problem here to not let the mom have this access, right? Go ahead, Kurtz.
No, that's right. And I just want to point out, too, that the blast doesn't actually, this news site does not actually quote anything that backs up Evan Rachel Wood's assertion that she voluntarily agreed to it. Notice how when they quote it, they cut out that part. That part is paraphrased. Wood and Bell agree. Well, someone could agree when they're forced, right? That's a legal thing. Like, okay, you got me. I'm screwed. So yeah, I agree. Like it's being spun away. That's not accurate. And I know it's not accurate because we have seen the Tennessee court documents that are publicly available, and those paint a completely different story. One other thing I want to point out: let's not forget that Evan Rachel Wood, she starred in a 2-part huge documentary hit job on HBO. The entire documentary was a hit job on Marilyn Manson, and she put her son, this son that she is claiming was so endangered and she was afraid that Marilyn Manson had this plot against him, she put her son repeatedly in the film. If you go and watch Phoenix Rising, you are going to see her son in scene after scene in the second installment of that documentary series. And
no wonder Jamie's worried. Yeah, it's like, why are you putting our kid into this mess?
It makes no sense, right? It also makes no sense if she is so concerned that Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, is a threat to her child, and that she's so concerned she has to kidnap the kid and run away to a safe place in Tennessee. Why is she filming that safe place? And why is she filming that kid? Why?
Right.
And I do want to add real quick, if you don't mind, Andy, 2 things. First off, she actually said in the Tennessee custody filing that Jamie gave her permission to basically kidnap their son. Again, if the media would read this. But even in the latest article today, the newest thing, I mean, we quote unquote learned is literally in that first, 2 to 3 paragraphs. Everything else below that is rehashing the Tennessee custody documents by cherry picking things from it. Right. That's it.
It's just talking about the danger she's in and Marilyn Manson, blah, blah, blah. It's all the talking points that she puts everywhere, basically filling it into her narrative to justify why this thing was made. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what's happening. But it's hard to not see this through this as something's off. This headline doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Why would you do this? And again, the reason I am reporting this is because this is a big case, and there was just a sort of a seemingly loss for Marilyn in the sake that he didn't get clear evidence that should be in there. But this is an ongoing case, and there's still a lot of ups and downs that we're going to be able to process through. But I thought this was very important to put out there. We got to always see through the spin, guys, and it's hard to not see this as clear spin. Who agrees to give up custody, and what mother loses said custody in California of all places? I can tell you that's just not normal. Something is off here. Andrea Burkhart's been in there too, getting involved in this, putting out some really good statements as well, just how strange this is. So stay tuned, guys. More coming. Appreciate you guys both. Make sure you follow the Marilyn Manson cases over on Twitter. her link tree, etc. Lisa does great stuff, has been following this case for a while, her podcast, etc. And you can also support Colonel Kurtz over on YouTube. And yes, go check out that video if you really want to get into this. This is the title, Evan Rachel Wood, terrified son and withheld father Jamie Bell. See the shocking court claims. You're going to want to go see that. Appreciate you both so much. Stay tuned here, guys. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to all these wonderful people. Hit that bell for all alerts. Smash that thumbs up. And tell me your thoughts down below. What do you think? Do you believe Evan? Do you believe her case here? Or are you seeing through it as well? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Appreciate you guys so much. We'll be live later today talking about that Brian Laundrie letter. It's wild. Oh my gosh, you're not going to miss that one. Join us today around 4 p.m. Eastern. We're here live every Tuesday and Thursday. Thanks for watching Popcorn Planet.